Welcome to part second of PHP and MySql tutorial, and this is where we left off in the last tutorial in the part 1. So let's get started. As you can see over here at this page, we have all the operations mentioned over here. The first one is insert operation, the second one is update, and the third one is delete operation. On the right side, the select operation will be performed. So let's complete the right side. Select. So the select query will be performed over here. I'm going to create a new file. And this file will contain all of my functions related to database. The first function is going to be connect DB. This function will be used in order to establish the connection with the database. And inside the function I'm going to create a variable connection status. The connection status will be holding the response. Whatever response will be returned from mysqli connect function, that will be stored inside the connection status variable. So mysqli connect function, this receives 4 parameters actually. The first one is going to be host name, and R is localhost. The second parameter is the username, and the username of my database is root. I haven't created the password, so I'm gonna leave it as it is, empty. And my database name is let's create the database first. Localhost. My PHP admin. Let's create a new database over here. I'm gonna name it test underscore DB. Create, and the database is successfully created. Here it is. I just clicked it, and now I'm going to create a table. I'm going to give it a name, and the name is users. This will contain 3 of the columns. The first one is going to be the ID, the second one is going to be the first name, and the last one going to be containing the last name. The ID is the type is going to be integer, and it will be auto incremented with every new record. First name, and the type is varchar. Varchar means you can either input text or numbers or whatever. And the length is going to be 20. And for the last name, the length is also going to be 20, and the data type is varchar. Save. Now the table is successfully created. This is the table name users. And now let's insert some dummy data. The first name is Roger and the second name is Harper. The second record is John Smith. Go. Both of the queries has been successfully executed. Let's insert two of the more records. The next one is going to be Muhammad Ali, and another one is going to be Khalid Sheikh. So now let's check our table. So as you can see, our table is containing 4 of the records at the moment. The first one is Roger Harper, second one is John Smith and Muhammad Ali, and the fourth one is Khalid Sheikh. Now let's go back to our db.php file. Here I have to give it the database name, test underscore db. If dollar connection status, if the database, if the connection is successfully established with the database, then the response will be assigned to connection status. And if the response is not assigned to connection status, in that case it is going to be the error. Echo error connecting database. Here you can see I'm using the note operator. It's exclamation mark actually. So not connection status means connection is not containing anything. So the connection was not established successfully. So that's the reason I just echoing out the error message over here. So after the if statement, I'm going to return the response, and response is connection status, the variable. Perfect. And now I'm going to create another function, and this function is going to be select data. Since this function is going to execute the select query, so I named it select data. Going to create a variable over here and assigning a database query, select all from table name users, connection status. So this function will receive the connection status, and then it will execute the specific query, the select query. Result equals to mysqli query, and the mysqli query function expects 2 parameters. The first one is going to be connection status, and the second one is going to be the query. I'm going to write a condition over here if we successfully found any record or not. mysqli num rows. So this function will return the number of rows found from the table. If the number of rows found are greater than 0, 0 means no row found. So this if condition will be true only and only if this result contains more than 0 records, 1, 2, 3 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or so on, but not 0. In that case, this if condition will be true. I'm going to return the result object, and after the if statement I'm going to return false. False means nothing. So in our first page I'm going to embed PHP code over here inside the HTML. So this is how you embed the PHP code inside HTML. So I'm going to include db.php because I'm going to use the functions written onto this file. First I'm going to connect with database. I just missed out one thing. I should put mysqli close over here. So this function closes the connection with database. So it's a good practice whenever you connect with database and you run some query. So after running that query, you must close the database. The database shouldn't remain open. Connection status is equal to my connect db, and I'm going to pass this to select data function. Select data function. Connection status. So now let's see if the query was ran successfully. Echo pre, echo pre. So why I'm using the pre tag over here? Because I'm gonna display the array over here, and using the pre, the array will be displayed in a nice structure. And for this I'm going to use print r function. It's a predefined function in PHP, and I'm going to pass data to it. Let's check this out into the browser. Yeah, mysqli. All right. Actually, this is an error, and this function actually expect the connection variable, the status variable, connection status. That was my mistake actually. Refresh. Undefined variable date, and where it is on index.php line number 59. It's data, not date. Refresh, and here you can see we have successfully received the object containing the data. The number of rows found from the database, and these number of rows are 4, and field count the columns and 3 of the columns. So the query ran successfully. Let's go ahead and display the found record. I'm going to create a database table over here. It's not a database table, it's HTML table actually. Echo table, echo table row, should be enclosed it should be enclosed into double quotes or either single quotes. Now it's going to be table heading. The first heading is going to be ID. The second heading is going to be first name. The third table heading is going to be, or the table heading actually, the table heading is going to be last name. While I'm using the while loop over here, I just want to iterate through the array. The array I'm talking about, the data we just fetched from the database. It's an object. $D equals to mysqli fetch assoc. Fetch assoc is associative array actually. It's not an index array. So instead of index numbers, it will be containing the index names. For example, first name, last name, and ID. And I'm going to pass the object data to this function, and this function will return records one by one, since we are using the while loop over here. Echo. I'm going to create a table row inside. Every time this loop will run, will create a new table row as well as the 3 of the columns. So that's what I'm going to write in here. Table data, and first table data is going to be D, and D is containing the first record actually from the array, and it is going to be the ID. So what is this? I just wrote ID over here. What does it mean? This ID is same as the ID over here. It should be matched. The same spelling, uppercase and lowercase, it's all. What I mean to say is it's case sensitive. First name, last name, it should be matched. Let's copy and paste this line twice. First name, last name, table row, and so far we have done with select query. So let's check this out into the browser. Perfect. The data has been successfully fetched or selected. The query ran successfully. It was the select query actually. So this part is of 90 minutes already. So I'm gonna end this tutorial over here, end this part over here actually, and we shall start the next part right after it.